This week on The Grind, the boys wrap up what they started in Wyoming.
I yearn for a place to call my own. I'm going home. Say what you will, I'll be better for it still. I've been wondering what you're doing with your time, just to get you off my mind. I'm in the grind.
The Grind Waterfowl TV is brought to you by Dakota Decoy, premium gunning decoys for demanding hunters. Lucky Duck, masters of deception. Rio, official ammunition of The Grind. Share the experience. Mud Buddy, the king of mud motors. Excel, the boat to own. Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy, the world's most accessible online retriever training program. High Mountain Seasonings, handcrafted jerky, seasonings, and meat processing tools. Lifetime Decoys, premium decoy rigging equipment. Sitka Gear, turning clothing into gear. Alps Outdoors, exceed your expectations. And these fine sponsors. This segment is brought to you by Mud Buddy and Excel Boats. This trip we were getting the full Wyoming experience. So far the ducks were a step ahead of us, the wind was anything but cooperative, and finding a place to hide was difficult. Our second day in Wyoming, we were sure we had them, but low winds and a lack of feeding birds put an end to that, so we took to the roads. We saw the real beauty of Wyoming that evening out scouting, and boy did we cover ground. Scouted near and far, just hoping for a way to find some fresh birds. Driving down 2 tracks and along the mountains, we came full circle. The ducks we'd been hunting were our only chance at a great hunt, and they were back in the same field for the 3rd straight day. A cold front had blown in, the wind was howling, and we were primed for a great last morning.
So when Brian and the boys came home from their scouting trip, Sean came in, he was excited with the amount of birds that were hitting this field. Not only that, but the weatherman was saying we're going to have a strong north wind, 15 to 20 mile an hour winds, very conducive for field mallard shooting. So there was a little excitement in the camp, and we got a good night's sleep. We got up, we got out there, and the wind was howling. And we looked at several different options, what we could do. We looked at the same weed line that we'd hunted the day before, but it was kind of a quartering wind. We drove out to the center pivot, thought, well, we could hide in this center pivot. And when I say center pivot, we were right on the pivot where the power supply was. It was weeded up. And our biggest fear was that the ducks wouldn't pull right up into that corner right next to that pivot.
Think they'll get within 20 yards of that pivot? In the air? In the air? But do you think they will?
I think they will. I've had it done before.
Do it then.
Alright. I mean, it's the best hide over here.
I don't think they'll see us. It won't be a matter. We'll probably have one good 25 or 30 yard shot. Well, we are on day 3 with our hunt with High Mountain Seasonings, Hans Hummel and Brian Tucker, and it is howling. We're getting some Wyoming weather this morning. So we got probably a 20, 25 mile an hour north wind. The field we have, that every bird in this county is hitting this field. The wind just hasn't been real conducive to getting ideal footage for them. So we're trying something different this morning. The only hide we have out here is the center pivot. And birds love center pivots. They know there's good food there, but we're gonna try something different. The only hide in this chisel plowed field is the pivot point, or the pump. So we're setting a tight spread up to the pump. We're gonna actually be sitting in the cover where the center pivot is, and we're gonna see if we can't pull these ducks up into this corner. It's gonna be tough shooting this morning. It's howling. It's been a great trip. Hans and Brian and Randy have treated us like kings. Just been spectacular. Everything, the accommodations, the company. It's great to make new friends. We're gonna try and wrap it up here with a great mallard shoot, pack up, hit the road, 12-hour drive back to South Dakota. So day 3, Central Wyoming.
This segment is brought to you by Rio Ammunition.
So after much due diligence, we decided to try it. We set up, they went to hide the trucks. We were doing some finishing touches around the blinds, or our hide for the day, which was the pivot, and 2 widgeon came bombing in. And they must have done it 5 times. And I mean, they got to within 10 yards of us, and Sean and I were moonwalking. We knew we might have something golden.
Did you see those 2 widgeons?
Yeah, they landed right in there.
3 times.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh, at least 3 times.
Let's hope they all do that.
Get them, guys.
Good shot.
Get those guys. Get them, get them, get them.
Good call, Bill. Hit your remote, Bill.
Here. Heel. Next. Good. Next. Get those 2 drakes, guys. Good boy. Good boy. Heel, 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 heel.
Hey guys, I'm Barton Ramsey with Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy, and this is a retriever training quick tip. Today I want to talk to you about heel work, or teaching a dog how to heel. There's 2 different ways that dogs heel. Some dogs heel because they want to, and some dogs heel because they have to. We're trying to get the former rather than the latter. And so what you want to do is, or what we do is, we teach a dog to heel without using a lead at first by coaxing the dog into the general area of heel. Whether you're heeling on the left if you're right-handed because your shotgun shells will eject on the right, or the right because of the opposite. We want a dog to hang out in this general area around our knee, and we use treats to do that at a very young age. If you have a dog who's older You can go ahead and start this anyway, and we have the treats in our hand and we walk around with the dog close to the area we want, and the dog eventually learns when they bring their head right to our knee, they receive a treat. And you just walk around, hopefully on pavement if you have a paved area so the dog's not sniffing everything in the grass. And as the dog begins to move closer and closer, you continue to reward the dog more and more over several training sessions until you can get your dog out, walk around, and they'll come right to heel. After they begin to do it on not just every once in a while, but consistently, you'll start to use the heel command and say heel in order to reinforce where the dog is. And once they're consistently performing this, then you add the lead and you begin to issue corrections when the dog moves away from heel after he already wants to be there in the first place.
This segment is brought to you by Dakota Decoy.
Got that one. Here, bud. Here, Max. Here. They have no idea we're here. Beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Oh, right here. Hard on the right. Yes. They're setting down by their buddies. Get him. Next. Shot, boys. How you doing here? Need more ammo? Okay, here's.
Traveling to different states or even new areas within our own state is almost always a rewarding experience. When you venture to new areas, you're seeing nature through a fresh set of lenses, seeing different roads, roosts, even species of wildlife. It's all new knowledge and new memories, different from your duck hole back home. This hunt, we got to see something you don't see back in the Midwest. Mallards silhouetted by a beautiful sunrise, dark storm clouds, and the mountains of Wyoming all around us. Watching Max's retrieves was even more special than normal, with the Wyoming dust kicking up and blowing in the high winds. Wyoming certainly showed us October's beauty in a different way than in corn country, and we were enjoying every second of it.
Next. Next. Nice. Man, they turn quick, don't they? These ducks were hunting right on this center pivot. And what they're doing, we're getting some good shooting. It's really high winds. Kind of surprising how good a shooting we're getting because of these winds. But they're sliding off to our backside and wanting to slide up the center pivot. So we're gonna get these honkers out of the way and give them a clean slide right up. We'll build a little wall right out here on right out in front of us. Good job, guys. Good shooting.
This segment is brought to you by Lucky Duck Premium Decoys.
You know, you get to travel the states a lot, and I've never spent a lot of time in Wyoming, passed through it on the way, further west, but this was the first time actually hunting in Wyoming for waterfowl. And talk about such a cool area, the central part of Wyoming, from almost like a desert environment to the mountains, beautiful lakes, and then obviously the rivers here. I mean, it had everything. It was super, super cool. Wildlife galore, from big game to waterfowl. It just is such a unique, special place to hunt. You can be hunting elk, ducks, antelope, deer, then you can be fishing for trout or catching walleyes. I mean, it's just what a sportsman's mecca in this part of the country.
One of the best parts about being a waterfowl hunter is all the different ways to find success. Some guys love the scouting and finding fresh birds. For others, it's the challenge of wing shooting. And for many, it's the fellowship you find in the whole bit. Wyoming had it all, and it gave us a big tip of the hat on our way out with a perfect mallard hunt and a sure bet we'll be back.
We're winding up day 3 here in central Wyoming with High Mountain Seasonings. Hans, Brian, and Randy did a marvelous job. Treated us like kings. Accommodations were super. Spectacular food. We're gonna have to go on a diet.
Yep.
But we, believe it or not, we had to hunt the same field all 3 days. There is a lot of ducks in this county, but they're all hitting this same field every day. So we looked around, and they were back in the field. So the first day we were in here, we thought we had an excellent hide, but we didn't. In the dark, it always looks like you do, but we didn't have. We kind of dug the blinds in, but we were getting picked out. It was a gray day, so no sun. Second day, we had a pretty good hide, really good hide, honestly. We were in a field edge in the layouts, and they did not know we were there. I mean, it was crazy. And we had a pretty good little shoot, or we could have had a good shoot, but the wind was a little bit wrong. So we come back day 3, Brian and the boys scouted last night. Everything was right back in this field. We had a hard north wind this morning, so the field didn't really lay up lay out right for a north wind for the hide that we had, the good hide. So there's this center pivot here, and we all argued this morning, not really argued a little. Heated discussion on whether or not we could pull these birds right up to this center pivot. And we just sat right back here behind us where the power is and the pivot. And we knew right away when we were setting up, we had 2 widgeon that basically came in and had to rise up and go over the top of this center pivot. So worked out spectacularly. I mean, it was, as you can see, a great hunt. It's hard in high winds. You get one good shot, but these birds were getting in tight enough where the results speak for themselves. It was an excellent hunt. Hans, thanks a lot. Brian, Randy, awesome.
Next week on The Grind, we postpone our trip to Utah due to weather and wind our way down to southeast Missouri for its famous flooded corn.